Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. It's our Black Friday sale. Recharge this season with a bundle of cozy, soothing comfort. Now only $17.99 for our C2 mattress and base, plus free premium delivery. Price is higher in Alaska and Hawaii. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered legal, medical, or mental health advice. The views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the podcast and are not intended to malign any religion, group, club, organization, business, individual, anyone, or anything.
I'm Sarah Edmondson.
And I'm Anthony Nippy Ames, and this is A Little Bit Culty.
We woke up from a cult, and that journey was captured in The Vow on HBO and in my memoir, Scarred.
Now, in this podcast, we break down the shame and secrets that make these experiences so destructive with honest conversations on how seemingly benign groups can cross into the cultiverse and how to spot and recover from trouble if it happens to you.
Each week, we bring in experts, survivors, and whistleblowers to explore red flags, resilience, and even share a few laughs, because sometimes you gotta laugh.
Subscribe to our Patreon for early and ad-free listening, some live Q&A, and exclusive content at patreon.com/alittleBitCulty.
Welcome to Season 8 of A Little Bit Culty.
Welcome back to A Little Bit Culty, everyone.
Today's guest is none other than the Heather Gay. Yes, the star of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, New York Times bestselling author of Bad Mormon, and now the powerhouse behind the incredible limited series Surviving Mormonism. These days, Heather's not just shaking up reality TV, she's shaking the foundations of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, pulling back the curtain on rituals, secrets, and the real-life impact of what many call a high-control group.
She's gone from model Mormon to outspoken ex-member, and she's the first to admit that calling anything a cult is a loaded move. But she was ready to have that conversation, and we enjoyed every second of it. Right,
we sure
Sarah?
did.
Yes,
yep,
we did.
We did.
She's funny.
Didn't want it to be over. In this episode, part 1, you'll hear Heather reflect on her journey out of the faith, from her idyllic upbringing and striving for gold star Mormon perfection to the moment when frozen burritos and a bishop's criticism snapped her out of the spell. She shares how leaving meant risking friends and family and even customers, but how the ex-Mormon community swooped her up just when she needed it. Love hearing that.
It's always those burritos, right? She dishes on learning the church's shadow side, the power of kinship and breaking free, and why peeling back the layers of indoctrination isn't a switch, but a years-long process.
With wit, honesty, and that classic housewife hustle, Heather talks about faith, fallout, and the hope that sharing her story and the stories of abuse survivors and former leaders can push actual change inside and outside the Mormon world.
Here's part 1 with Heather Gay.
Heather, welcome officially to A Little Bit Culty.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
I don't know if you remember this, but our mutual friend, Kate Casey, tried to get us to talk maybe 3 years ago, and we were texting. Does this ring a bell? It was probably in the middle of your life blowing up.
My life blowing up and me running in fear from anything with the word cult, for sure. Yes.
Yeah.
You've embraced that word since then, it appears.
I mean, embrace would be a strong term, but I mean, I'm certainly saying it now. It's like 4-letter C words are hard for me.
Yeah.
Both are very charged.
It's a polarizing group. It's definitely a polarizing group.
First of all, there's so much going on in your life. How are you doing, right now? You're in the midst of this crazy press tour. Are you okay? Are you grounded? Are you spiraling?
Well, always spiraling, never grounded. And that's normal. That's baseline. So I feel good. Strangely enough, the busier I am and the more overwhelmed that I feel, the happier I am, probably because, less time for navel gazing or introspect, I just really like to keep I just like to make hay while the sun shines. I feel like I'm in this phase of life I never thought I'd have. So I just want to grind, constantly.
That's great.
That's amazing. I didn't realize how similar we are in that way. So I get that. I don't sit still very easily. I like to just keep going, sometimes to my detriment, but I'm glad that you're okay, even though it's intense. And that makes me happy.
That's the benefit of being dead inside is it doesn't matter how intense it gets, there's no range. So
It's true.
Noah Kahn song, like I drive the farthest on empty, that really rings true for me. So let's go.
Let's do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know you're not embracing fully the word cult. You're maybe giving it a little like hug and a tap or something. And we'll get into that later. Are you okay with the arc of, starting a little bit with your journey, your bad Mormon story, and then why you're doing the show now and what you've learned?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my life changed by becoming a real housewife of Salt Lake City.
Yes.
I think of it as like a vine that came through. I swung from the Mormon vine and the Mormon community straight into the housewife community and like a world that for the first time kind of broke me out of the bubble that I'd been living in, like in ways that I didn't even understand, just exposure to ideas and morals and values and hopes and ambitions and dreams that just had never been accessible or available to me. And so with that, it really gave me independent thought and independent income for the first time in my life. And I wanted to write the book, Bad Mormon. And the book really opened up this whole world that I didn't ever know existed, because when you're in the faith, you don't, you only know the good and you only know the positive. You don't look beyond. But then once you leave, I was really exposed to just this whole huge ex-Mormon community that just kind of swooped me up. And in part of that community was also the housewife community. So it was a really interesting transition to go from, one cult to another. The book kind of was the portal to make that happen. And so once I realized there's this unique kind of merge of pop culture and faith deconstruction, like it just felt like I needed to seize the opportunity and talk about it on a grander scale.
You've totally leaned into that, and I commend you for it and think that you're just such a badass for using your housewife platform for doing what you're doing now. And it's just like, I get chills when I think about your capacity to make change. And for those people who've been living under a rock, sidebar, when the Housewife in general franchise started was 2006, I believe, and we were knee deep in NXIVM, so we missed that whole thing.
I think I would have missed it had I not been in knee deep in NXIVM.
I don't know. I won't speak for you.
No offense.
It's not your. I probably would have loved it, but I also like reality TV shows, and we just weren't allowed to satiate. Like it wasn't.
For the record, I did plenty of that.
I know you did. You were a bad NXIVM person.
Comparing the contrast.
I know, but like you couldn't drink coffee. We weren't supposed to be satiating in like reality TV. But anyway, for those who've been living under a rock, before you were a bad Mormon, you were a very good Mormon. You were really good. You were a high achieving, gold star searching, going for it Mormon. You were living the dream. And I just want to give people like a little bit of a picture about your childhood and, what was good about it before you started to have doubts?
Everything was good about it because I didn't know anything different. And it was great. It was an idyllic childhood. It was my siblings were my best friends. My family loved each other. We had family dinners. We had Monday nights at home together. I knew that my family had special rules that the other kids in the neighborhoods didn't have. And I felt like we were cooler, happier, and special. And I felt that was because we were Mormon. And I felt like even as a child, like, hey, your life kind of looks like it sucks. Come to church with me. Come be a Mormon. Everything will change and you can have like this magical life I have too. And I probably felt that. I committed to feeling that until I was married. And it became impossible to force other people to commit to your same conclusion.
Right.
The moment that really struck me in the book of like a red flag that you were very easily able to kind of override was when you got baptized. You suddenly realized that all your friends and family had been keeping this secret from you. Can you give us a little tidbit of that recognition?
It wasn't my baptism, but my endowment ceremony.
But that's what I meant. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just to clarify, because my endowment, that's the moment when you go in, and I'd been going to church with these people my entire life. I was 22 years old. Like I was an adult and I had conversations about everything. And I walk into the temple and my dad is wearing a little chef's cap and a fig leaf apron. And my mom has temple robes on and they're just stone-faced. And it's not even like, a little weird. I mean, it's just like, this is who we are. This is what we do. And we had never, ever discussed it. And it had been a secret, like amongst my best friends, amongst my Sunday school teachers, like, how are this many people keeping the secret this well? I mean, amongst safe spaces, I could understand keeping the secrets to outsiders, but in-house, I mean, we are very good at keeping secrets. That was astonishing to me. Even my best friends that had gone through the temple and gone through the ceremonies and been shell-shocked came out and like kind of said to me jokingly, like, just don't think about Chef Boyardee. And I'd be like, what do you mean don't think about Chef Boyardee? And like little Easter eggs like that are kind of a nod to like, hey, we're still normal. We still get that it's weird, but we are more allegiant to the covenants and oaths that we've made, which is, secrecy at all costs. And those secrets were kept from me and they were kept from everyone. Now, even lifelong Mormons that have left the church for 15 years, when I tell them what goes on in the temple, because they never went, they're like blown away because they still, even after leaving the church, no one's told them the secret rituals.
Even cult podcasts need sponsors. Check out these must-haves. Does anybody wake up in the middle of the night and have to write a list of all the things they need to do? I mean, this is my life. It's an end of year pressure. It's the holidays. It's the sports. It's the to-do list. I should feel more productive. It's a low-level anxiety. I should finish our book. The list never ends. And I really should have started holiday shopping weeks ago. We're doing the best we can. But that's where Calm comes in. Calm is not just a feeling, it's an app. In fact, Calm is the #1 app for sleep and meditation, and it's here to help you feel better. Calm helps me tremendously with my anxiety, with my stress, with my sleep. I have it on standby, and then I put on a calm meditation or a sleep story or a breathing exercise. So when the shoulds pile out, I reach for Calm. It's my go-to tool to release stress and make space to actually breathe, even on the busiest days. They've got guided meditations for anxiety-focused sleep and calming music for nights when your brain just won't shut off, grounding exercises for when everything just feels like too much, and expert talks to help you build better habits and relationships. And you don't have to join a cult. The Calm apps put it all right in your pocket, so peace is within reach. No pressure, no perfection. Calm your mind, change your life. Calm has an exclusive offer just for our listeners of our show. Get 40% off Calm Premium subscription at calm.com/culty. Go to calm.com/culty for 40% off unlimited access to Calm's entire library. Calm.com/culty. And tell Calm you heard about them from us. By the way, happy holidays.
As a busy parent, it's been such a game changer to do our weekly food shopping with Hungry Root. Hungry Root plans all our meals for the week, shops for us, and delivers groceries that fit our health goals, dietary preferences, and budget. Let's be honest, this time of year, our brains are maxed out. Between the podcast, the new book, holidays, kids' football, and trying to remember everyone's preferences, meal planning just is not happening. That's where Hungry Roots saved the day and helped us eat well and reach our health goals. Take their quiz. And their Smart Cart tech builds out groceries and recipes that fit your taste, goals, and schedule. We're talking 15,000 chef-created recipes, many ready in under 15 minutes, and over 1,000 grocery items from trusted brands. Everything meets super high ingredient standards, no weird additives, no junk. Just real food that tastes amazing. My personal favorite is how Hungry Root knows us so well, like a great personal shopper. They sent us delicious grilled turkey tenderloin with pesto veggies and our favorite snack from Lesser Evil. Take advantage of this exclusive offer. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box, plus get a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/culty and use code culty. That's hungryroot.com/culty. Code culty to get 40% off your first box and free item of your choice for life. Since moving to Atlanta, we have lost track of some of our finances. School fund here, savings there, old bank accounts. Half the time I'm trying to remember what everything's worth, and the other half I'm wondering if we're leaving money on the table. Feel organized and confident in your finances with Monarch. an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean interface on your laptop or your phone. And right now, just for listeners, Monarch is offering 50% off your first year with code CULTY at monarch.com. When we started using Monarch, we learned we weren't saving as much as we could, and how much cash was sitting idle and unallocated. And trying to keep track of our finances on more than one app ate into our valuable time. Monarch Money is built for people with busy lives who want to actually feel on top of their finances without turning into spreadsheet people. You just link your accounts and Monarch does the heavy lifting. Smart spending breakdowns, clear visuals, and real insight into where your money's going. It's also great for couples. One dashboard, full transparency, no more, wait, we spent that much moments. And you can even loop in your financial advisor at no extra cost. So now, instead of guessing what our money's doing, we actually know. And honestly, it's kind of the best grown-up feeling ever. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code CULTY at monarch.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code CULTY.
Thank you, sponsors. We couldn't do it without you. Now let's get back to the show.
So the temple is when it cranks up.
Oh,
It
yeah.
turns
The
up the heat.
temples, yeah.
So you can live amongst people in the temple. And
Outside the temple.
well, what I'm saying is you can live amongst people that
Who've been.
interface with the temple.
Yeah.
And there's that chasm. They know something you don't, and they walk around with that all the time. Is that kind of the atmosphere that you're in?
Yeah, exactly. And the objective is for everyone to get to the temple. But there's even secrets within the temple that you keep from your spouse. So you receive a special secret temple name, and your husband is allowed to know the wife's, but the wife is never allowed to know the husband's. So even within the temple, there are secrets between spouses, secrets between men and women, secret things that men, covenant to that the women are not privy to and don't have access to. So like the levels of control.
Yeah. Well, secrecy is poisonous, but it also kind of keeps the infrastructure intact, I think, too, a little bit.
Yeah.
But you all divided to the secrets.
Well, the secrets are divided, but it's like collectively we honor the fact that we both have secrets and just subjugate ourselves to the fact that like I have to tell my husband my secret sacred temple name that only God knows. But if he told me his, he would be betraying God. So it's this allegiance to God, allegiance to the church rules over allegiance to spouse, child, law enforcement, neighbors, and that's really where I think the hierarchy is damaging.
Yeah.
Hugely damaging. And we're going to get into that. On a lighter note, I also think it's a huge betrayal that no one told you that you can't wear a black bra underneath your white temple garments. I mean, that should be the first thing they tell you.
They didn't tell you that?
They didn't tell me, like, it never.
That's so rude.
It's more fucked up than I thought,
Yeah.
Sarah.
I mean, talk about the shame.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Who
That'll
owns
do
a
it.
white bra when they're 21? I mean, what virgin owns a white bra? Well, me. I own the black bras because it's my only chance to wear them.
I loved your audiobook, by the way. I think.
Glad to say I can't answer any of those
No,
questions.
that's not. This is between Heather and I. This is for me and Heather. Your audiobook's so good, especially when you describe what goes on in the temple in your endowment and like the cloth, the veil and the handshake and the tapping and the whispering is just next level bizarre. And I understand why people keep it a secret because it's crazy, which I'm not telling you.
It's crazy. It's
crazy.
But what's crazier, and I say this with all the love in my heart for my devout Mormon friends and family
Of course.
and adherents. What's crazier still is the way that we make it normal and cool and reverent and sacred. It's a weird little what is it when you hit someone's knee to see if they have a reflex? It's like a
Reflex,
little
yeah.
reflex mallet on a dirty rope hung to like a steel scaffolding, and like a little old lady taps the mallet, and we make that like the angel Moroni. We make these weird things beautiful and sacred, and that's what's weird to me. Like, because if you took these people outside at a dinner table, we'd complain about a spot on the fork. But when we're in the temple, we'll take like a 40-year-old little mallet and act like it's a ram's horn from the hand of God.
I also was really struck by how there were elements like the first part of your ceremony where you were anointed with oil by the women as something that was really beautiful and something that really touched you and you felt very close to God. Do you think that sometimes the beautiful elements of it make the bad stuff like more okay because you're like holding on to the good stuff?
Yeah, I don't think I even allowed myself to view any of the weird stuff as bad.
Right.
But when it felt good, when it felt less weird and felt more sacred, more reverent, yeah, you clung to that because that balanced out like repressing the weird things. And I have to say, I just think I'm a sucker for all of it, for religion and presentation and ritual and, and incense. I mean, for all of it, to have these women so reverently like anoint me with oil and place their hands on my head. And I had never seen a woman administer or do that. That was like out of left field. Like women don't hold the priesthood. They don't have that type of authority. So it's like, once again, another chamber of secrets within this chamber of secrets that no one ever said to me, 2 women are going to bless you. You're going to get naked. They're going to anoint you with oil and they're going to bless you. No one said anything. They just said, put this on and go in this room. And I just went. And that's
powerful.
Wow.
I do think there's understanding what is good about it is important to see how it becomes so important and how it covers the bad until it doesn't.
And there's also the component of, was no an option for you?
No was never an option because, it was never an option. So you might as well make it great.
You can do anything. You can do anything.
Yeah. And there was another part where I thought the weirder it was, like the ram's horn of oil, like the weirder it was, the more it had to be from God. Because what George Lucas, Star Wars creative director, is writing this stuff? You know what I mean? This could only come from otherworldly knowledge because it's so weird.
That's a good point.
That's a very good point.
So,
And hey, listen, no judgment. Like I lay on a massage table.
I got lots of judgment.
Ask to be
around
branded.
the Mormons.
So like, in terms of ceremony and like ritual and going through it, but also you describe very well in your book how like in your head, you're like, this is crazy, this is nuts, but I'm going to do it because I said I would. And
no, to be clear, the judgment's not on Heather, it's on the Mormons.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we could all judge each other.
I think we're allowed to judge the Mormons and their rams, and it's not Heather I'm judging.
But when you say you laid on a massage table and asked to be branded, I understand that completely. Like if you asked me to make that make sense, I could do the gymnastics and make it make sense and be like,
totally.
It's a beautiful way to show surrender and I can do that. And that's, I think, weird.
Well, also, no wasn't an option for you.
No wasn't an option for me either. But I think that's what's unique about our experiences, having totally different upbringings in completely different high control groups. We don't even have to say cults. If you don't want to, I get it. And yet you understand. You hear my story and I hear your story and I go, I get that. I get why you had to go as far as you did and vice versa. It's a kinship I feel like a lot of people don't have. So I appreciate that with you, Heather.
No,
you can imagine. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Same.
Cult sisters forever.
Cult Sisters United. Start a new group.
That's how you know. That's how you know it is a cult. In that kinship, in that leaving, and those experiences, and that mind control. That it was in the leaving of the church that I began to be able to look at it that way and see our kinship and see how much it had indoctrinated the way I viewed the world and my role in it.
Yes.
Also, it's the same pattern, like across the board. Everything you're saying, I'm like, yep, that makes total sense. Happening kind of within 5 years of each other, right? On the same continent. Like these things are like, we are swimming in a lot of these patterns of abuse right now. And it's good that you guys are able to connect.
Yeah.
To talk about it.
It's not as crazy and obscure as you think, right? Because this is, it's in a lot of our institutions. So,
Heather, I have to tell you, we came to Salt Lake about 4 years ago to do John Dehlin's podcast, who I know you know.
Yes, know and love.
Which is an endurance. Endurance challenge. Doing one of his
podcasts ever.
It's like meals.
I did 12 hours.
Yeah, and it's never not like, yeah, that's a great question. I was never like, anyway, go ahead.
But he took us around. He toured us around Salt Lake and took us everywhere. And I was just flabbergasted. We were both just like flabbergasted about the wealth and the monuments and the resources and just like, it just made Nexium look like such a like stinky little stupid, tiny little. The Mormon church is so huge. It's so extensive and wildly successful in terms of its growth. And I love being able to like look at specifically, what's not healthy, because there's so many people that are like, no, it's not a cult, it's a religion, and what's culty about it? Okay, I want to just tell you one of your, one of the red flags from your book that like you were a teenager and you had to go tell your bishop who's 50 years old about like your deepest sexual thoughts. Like how wildly inappropriate is that?
And I thought that made me special because he was more invested in my purity than the other girls. Even retelling the story now, I have to put it in a creepy context because I was trained to go into rooms with men from the time I was 8 years old and tell them anything that I was doing wrong and talk through it. You know, every sexual indiscretion I ever had, I discussed in detail with a man, 20 years older than me, and received permission from him to be forgiven by God. I mean, and that to me was how I accessed God and accessed progression and became better. And like the creepier they treated you, the more special you felt. And that was just grooming 101 that I can only say that now because I've had conversations like this with people who know more and can kind of guide me through. And like John Dehlin walked me through it. Like I went in on his podcast, like, not a cult, great church, just not for me.
Yeah.
And he was so deeply patient with me and still is. And I feel like he's like my cult coach, just guiding me like a shepherd and so many other people too. But if it weren't for him, I would probably still be apologizing for it.
Way to go, John Dehlin. Big props to him.
What was the shift?
Everyone needs a cult coach. What was the shift that he helped you? How did he help you see that?
It was slow. I mean, it was like a slow moving ship.
Did you know that it was being called a cult? Were you defensive in there? Did he catch you on your defenses? Like, what was it? Or were you open to like, because he's got to break down walls. Yeah. Okay.
I wasn't open. And I know the moment. There was a moment when he was just kind of, and I was with my business partner during the podcast, and he was just kind of telling me all of these things, why it wasn't my fault and why I had been indoctrinated and how this was conditioning. And I sat there and I was just crying. And I was like, even as you are saying these things to me, and they were hyping me up, they were supporting me and like seeing me, I was like, I'm rejecting all of it and thinking, you're wrong. The church is true. Joseph Smith's a prophet. That's just like, and when that happened, and he just said, oh, you're still deeply in it. Just give yourself more time. And that permission, that just space to be like, it's like you have to lose it. It has to like dissipate. Like the propane from the gas fireplace has to burn off because it's just in my cells. And when he gave me that permission, I realized, oh, it's not a light switch. It's not a shelf break for me. It's a deconstruction over time because I spent 40 years, living, breathing, and trying to form it to be my life. And now, I have to shed myself of it.
Time to deprogram. Listen up for our sponsor's latest offer.
Between crowded airports, darker days with daylight savings, and end-of-year stress, it's easy to fall behind on important things like staying healthy. That's why I stay one scoop ahead with AG1, the daily foundational nutrition drink that helps my body keep up when life gets hectic. When Nibby and I first opened our first package from AG1, we literally fought over the little bottle, the shaker bottle, and I immediately took our D3 and K2 drops. AG1 is loaded with antioxidants, probiotics, and functional mushrooms to support immune resilience. And I love the packets for when we're traveling over the holidays. Superfoods and B vitamins help me sustain my energy levels without feeling the crash, while over 70 high-quality ingredients fill those nutrition gaps in one fell scoop. When stress hits hard, AG1's prebiotics, probiotics, and enzymes support a balanced gut, which means better regularity, stronger immunity, and a calmer mind. I love starting my day with AG1. It helps me feel refreshed, resilient, and ready to take on whatever is next. As the year winds down, don't fall behind. Stay one scoop ahead with AG1. Head to ag1.com/culty to get a free welcome kit with an AG1 flavor sampler and a bottle of vitamin D3 plus K2 when you first subscribe. That's drinkag1.com/culty. Enjoy!
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. It's that time of year when the days feel a little shorter, the light fades earlier, and suddenly, even small things feel a little heavier. It's a good reminder to check in with your people and with yourself. Maybe that means calling your mom or grandma, texting a friend you haven't seen in a while, or finally setting up that lunch date you've been putting off. Little moments of connection can make such a difference. And if you've been thinking about reaching out for therapy, this is your sign. Just like reconnecting with someone you love, it can take a bit of courage, but most people say they wish they had done it sooner. BetterHelp makes it easy to start. Their licensed therapists work across the U.S., and they do the hard part for matching you with someone who fits your needs and preferences. You can message, chat, or do video sessions, whatever feels comfortable. And if it's not the right fit, you can switch anytime. So as the days get shorter, remember, you don't have to go through it alone. This month, don't wait to reach out. Whether you're checking in on a friend or reaching out to a therapist yourself, BetterHelp makes it easier to take the first step. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/culty. That's betterhelp.com/culty. Thanks for listening. Now let's resume our culty convo.
What a gift that he was able to do that and did it patiently, because we've learned, because as people told us, we were in a cult, and then we left and told the people who were still there that they were in a cult. And, some people we were able to pull out and some people we weren't. So we know we can't just say that now, right? People have to have their own awakening and their own.
Yeah. Did you guys have that kind of survivor's guilt? Like you got out, like you want to go.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of how this show even came to be. Like surviving Mormonism feels like if we can do that, if we can throw one starfish back into the ocean.
I do feel that it's sort of there's like the silver lining of it, that we get to help people, but the underneath of it is still driven by the same kind of like in the same mission oriented way that I was trying to build NXIVM when I realized it was wrong. I'm still driven to destroy and like shine a light on cults. And while that's good, it still comes from very much the same place, and also
Fire
cleaning
within.
up my mess. Fire within. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel that too.
It's like, but this has to be done. Like it's the right thing to do, which may also feel kind of spiritual, like purposeful.
Well, yeah, it's like we're great warriors, before, and we're great antagonists after. And if you really want to go deep culty with me right now, like me telling you
Yes.
is going straight to a Book of Mormon scripture of like God's greatest enemy when he turns for good is God's greatest hero. And like I go straight to a Book of Mormon scripture, and I just did a show called Surviving Mormonism. You know what I mean? Like it's just in my train of thought, like music lyrics. It will never leave me.
It will never leave you, but I feel like it will slowly be less, is my thought, as you keep peeling and keep talking about it. My guess, I don't know.
Well, there's also parts
Lisa
of
has been
it
for
that
us.
you're aligned with still that are good. So you have to make those distinctions of like what's me and what is the church, and are they, parallel to each other, and they contaminated it, but this can still be me and my expression. And I think you're doing a good job from what I can tell. My guess, if you don't mind me saying, is I think there's a lot of things cursory in my experience, because my dad was born in Ogden, was born Mormon as well, and I spent peripheral time and energy around Mormons, but it was always very positive, and there was always a very positive vibe, juxtaposed to kind of what the rest of the world. You go back to New York City after you've been in Ogden, Utah, there's two distinct feelings. There's a lot of positive things in there. You come across as positive in things that you do. And I don't know how you feel about attributing that to Mormonism, but I don't think that's a negative thing. Would you?
Yeah, how's that process?
I hear exactly what you're saying. And it's like that earnest, like, go get them half glass full, like everybody's a friend, like stranger's just a friend I haven't made yet, like I feel that. Like I think that's who I am.
That comes across.
But that's also this kind of cornball Mormonism too. And I'm glad that's who I am. And I attribute that to the faith and to being raised in the 80s by like dedicated Mormon parents, like they were doing it, they were in on it. And Mormons are so nice, and they're so rich, and they're so powerful. And it's like, but if they're all those things, then shouldn't they also be inquisitive about the shadow side of such a huge institution and be open to hearing experiences that don't align with theirs? That's the one red flag to me, is like, why so defensive?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everybody has room for improvement, even the true Church of God,
When was the first time that you realized there was a shadow side? What was your first real hit of that?
When I got divorced. And I was a single mom, and I call it like, it's the writer in me. I was a dangling participle, I just like, I wouldn't know what to do with me. It made everyone uncomfortable. They weren't sure how to define it. I was still doubling down on Mormonism and on that community in order to keep continuity for my kids. And was exhausted, and I was in my bishop's office because I reported to him. I was like, he was in charge of directives, but I was in charge of like the legwork. Like, this family needs food. This family needs a babysitter. They need a funeral plan. Like, and I was the Relief Society president, which is like, and I was a single mom. They knew I was going through a divorce. It was a matter of time before they pulled me and got a married woman in there, but they were, treading softly. And he made some comment to my daughter about her dad. And I thought, this is messed up. Like, he's pulling me from a resource from my kids, and then he's criticizing their father, and he's not doing anything to actually help. And in fact, I'm working for him. This is like the reverse ministering that should be happening right now. And I just felt invisible and forgotten. And like, where I'd felt powerful and a leader, I felt used and manipulated and exploited. And I went home that night, and I remember like feeding my kids like frozen burritos and just thinking, he probably thinks that I'm divorced because I didn't do a home cooked dinner for my husband, but it's because I was in his office being, scolded on doing a better job. And that disconnect just came crashing down. And I thought, this is bullshit.
So interesting that what it takes for everyone, such a personal thing, to have the reality being inconsistent to snap you out of the dream.
Yeah. And it's, it's a frozen burrito, a Lynn Wilson cheese burrito in a paper towel. And you think, what am I doing in my life?
Heather, I have to tell you a very quick tangent about somebody who was in the 12 Tribes Church, who was a guest on our show. And one of her moments like that was 12 Tribes, you can't eat chocolate, and you can't use the like communal money to buy stuff like that. But she was at Rite Aid, like purchasing some stuff for the cult. And she picked up a bag of Hershey's Kisses, and she was going to buy them. And then all of a sudden she was afraid that somebody might be following her or watching her. And then all of a sudden she was like, what am I doing? I'm in my 40s and I'm afraid that someone's going to be upset with me for buying Hershey's fucking chocolates. And then she put them back on the shelf, like the metaphorical and figurative, like actual shelf. And I just think but that was a seed that was planted for her, that eventually helped her wake up. And for you, it was a burrito. You never know. You never know what it's going to be.
But that watching, everyone watching and like being our brother's keeper, I remember like a moment walking into Michael's, and I had on a tank top and cutoffs, and I was with my daughter, and I started to do the thought, like, if I see anyone, I'll say I was boating, I'll say I was gardening, because I didn't have my shoulders and legs covered. I was not wearing the sacred garments, and I would always have a reason. And I thought, I don't need a reason. They know I'm a bad Mormon. They know I've left the church. Like, come at me, bro. I'm going to walk into the store, shoulders and knees, and but I still feel it and think it. And I just have to walk through it.
Yeah, totally. You always have an excuse ready so you don't get in trouble still. I just remembered something as you were talking. I would always skip the mission statement, and Nippy would as well. It was like the 12-point mission statement at the beginning of class.
I would mime it and make fun of it.
Nippy would leave. I would go to the bathroom and pretend I was having like stomach issues, and I'd be like, putting on my mascara and like doing whatever I need to do, checking my email. And then I'd be like, if anyone knocks on the door, I can say that like I'm, having stomach issues. But really, I just didn't want to say the fucking mission statement.
It was painful.
Excuse my language.
Exactly.
It was so painful.
Like that shows us that it's a little bit culty.
Yeah. If you have to you're an adult and you're coming up with the excuse for why you're not doing the thing you don't want to do, that may be a sign that you shouldn't be doing that thing. That's good advice.
Yeah, that's great advice. We should put that on a t-shirt. Probably condense it a little bit.
Yeah. Maybe you could help with the marketing.
Run that through chat. All right. So I have a question. Yeah. It's related.
Sorry. I'm geeking out with Heather.
So when you start to have these doubts, are you aware that there's other dissenters out there? Like there's a place that you can go? Or are you just feeling, if I have these doubts, and imagine the fantasy is a life outside of the church, where do I go? Are there resources? Did you know there was a warm audience? How aware are you of people who had left before? Or did you just think like it's the Wild West? And like, what was your relationship?
I knew there was an audience, and that was the lone and dreary world. And like, even if I wasn't going to live as a Mormon, I was never going to cross the line and join them. And that was the Mormon stories. That was ex-Mormon Reddit. That was like when I went on Mormon stories, I was terrified. John Dehlin to me was the pastor of, of those who have gone astray.
That's amazing.
And so I was afraid. I knew there was a community. I didn't want any part of it because even if I wasn't going to live it, I was going to stay in it and stay, you know what I mean? I was going to go to the bathroom and do my mascara during the mission, but I was going to, I was going to raise my kids in it. I was going to go to the celestial kingdom with my family, come hell or high water. I would never have left. I would never have left my miserable marriage if my husband hadn't left. I was committed, and commitment is Mormonism. And I was a commitment ruled everything. I made the choice. It didn't matter how I felt or what happened.
Are you guys friends now? Can you thank him for leaving, or is that?
No, screw that. No.
Never. Forget it. Thanks,
I'm
Billy.
not that involved. I'm not that grateful.
Slow down, Sarah.
Yeah, come on, girl.
Lower the expectations here, Sarah.
If he was like kind of sacrilegious in a way, why did you say yes to John Dehlin? I'm so curious.
Truth?
Yeah.
My business partner and best friend left the Mormon church at 21, was a huge influence on me. Like I would say something about Joseph Smith and she'd go, "That's made up." And I'd be like, "Shut, let me live," And she
Is this Andrea or Andrea?
Yeah. Yeah. I call her Dre.
That's great.
Andrea Robinson Dre. And she's just the coolest human and most evolved human on the planet. And I am a terrible business partner and friend. And it was her birthday. And I had not gotten a gift, but I had been on Housewives and I had a little bit of, that Mormon celebrity currency. And I knew that it was her dream to meet John Dehlin, to go on Mormon stories. But, her Mormon story was just a Mormon story. And so she, you know what I mean? It was like and so I sent a Hail Mary email, like, I'll do whatever it takes. Like, I want to come on with Dre. And it was my birthday gift to her. And I swallowed the fear. And I know it sounds totally corny, but like, it felt like a sacrifice for me because I was coming out. Like I was saying, I'm going to join you on the side. And I know what that's going to do to my ability to ever go to a family reunion, to meet customers at my store, to walk down my street, and to see the people that have helped me raise my kids and my kids' teachers and my doctor and my violin teacher. I wanted to stay safe with all those people, but I loved her more and she loved John Dehlin more. So that's how I got there. And I'm so grateful because that was the moment that really changed my whole trajectory and got me here today.
It's a love story.
And he's a consulting producer on Surviving Mormonism. And there's
that's great.
There's digital content on Peacock available of his interviews. And there's more stories to be told, if we get a second and third season, I think we'll see a lot more of him as well.
Oh, good.
That'd be great.
And I'm sure you will. I feel like the 3 parts, which we'll transition maybe into that.
Okay.
That's the transition.
One more comment.
Sure.
John Dehlin, too, is like the perfect guy to do what he's doing, in my opinion. I think he's very good at imagine the shock of people who are told certain things about John Dehlin and then actually meeting him and being like, what?
I know, devil horns and
the polarities must snap you out of it.
Every group has a John Dehlin too. Somebody who's speaking out against it and he's the devil. And then you meet them and you're like, oh, you're so cool and smart and kind.
Take me under your wing.
He has the compassion for it.
He does.
Okay, everybody, stay tuned for an absolute banger on Thursday when we keep going with Heather, talking about life in the ex-Mormon world and how Heather is now reclaiming spirituality on her own terms.
See you Thursday.
Sinking down to the depths of the ocean, hanging on to the weight of my love. If I let go of it all, I could leave, but I know I won't.
We hope you're enjoying A Little Bit Culty. If so, please do show us some love. Drop a rating or leave a review. Hit subscribe on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen. And subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/alittlebitculty.
Even better, send this episode to someone who needs it. Maybe they're in a cult. Maybe they're just a little bit susceptible. Or maybe they just love a good story. Spread the word, spread the love. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.
A Little Bit Culty is a Trace 120 production.
Executive produced by Sarah Edmondson and Anthony Nippy Ames in collaboration with producer Will Rutherford at Citizens of Sound. Our co-creator is Jess Temple Tardy.
Our production coordinator is Leslie Dinsmore.
Writing by Sandra Namoto and social media marketing by Eric Swarzinski and Brooke Keene.
Our theme song, Cultivated, is by the artists John Bryant and Nigel Aslan.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.